So I've been reading and listening to, I'm dyslexic, so it's helpful for me to have both. This is Body Grief by Jane Mattingly, and it is powerful. I highly recommend it. I'm not all the way through, so it's possible there's some things in here I might disagree with, but so far it's been really great read, and I'm actually reading it alongside a client right now who's getting a lot of value too. So highly recommend. If you are a reader, go get it. If you're a listener, listen. It's on the library app in my area. You can also get it all kinds of places. I got mine at Powell's. One of the things I really appreciate is they talk about perceived body betrayal, and I love this framing of it because we talk about body betrayal, and I hear people often say, like, my body has betrayed me, my body's broken, my body is, I can't believe my body's doing this to me, or my body won't do XYZ. And it's one of the things that I recognize in the difference between body positivity and fat liberation, body trust type work. That's more about I'm good with how my body looks. I approve of how my body looks, or I think my body looks good enough, or like a wider range of bodies are acceptable, versus some people say like, oh, I'm happy with what my body does, right? And that's, again, a body positivity. There's some ableist thoughts in there, right? We're not looking at my body as good as it is. And that's really where fat liberation is rooted in, is these systems that tell me that my body is not good enough, or that try to dehumanize me, or pit me against other people, or say that I'm less than because I look a certain way, I have a certain ethnic background, my abilities are different than the average person. This book is just really powerful. I just want to read a little bit more about perceived body betrayal. As with body grief, perceived body betrayal stems from the societal message that our productivity, looks, and abilities are the primary measure of our worth, when in reality, all bodies of all colors, shapes, sizes, and gender, and ability, I'm adding that part in, I know that that's part of their messaging, hold equal value in sickness and in health, and at every life stage. All bodies are destined to change, age, and experience different levels of productivity over the course of a person's life. And so looking at the way that capitalism impact our perceptions of our bodies, we start to accept like, okay, my body is good, even if it looks this way, right? But then if we experience illness or an injury, or we have differing abilities, then it's like, well, my body's not good enough because it can't do XYZ. And that's this idea that we as humans, we're only as good as our contribution. And that's tough, right? Because we're just taught like, you're supposed to be a good person, you're supposed to help other people. And if you have read Burnout, they talk about having human giver syndrome, right? We're only as good as what we offer to the world, what we can give. And, for me, I'm a mother, for a long time, it was like my value was tied to that. And my value is also tied to being a nurse and, all these pieces. And I had to peel back all of those layers and recognize that, no, like I'm equally valuable to any other human. A patient in a skilled nursing facility, they have equal value and deserve to be treated with care and respect and to have freedom, even though they're not quote productive. It gets into all of these layers of things that we talk about in culture and the way that we pit people against each other, right? Sonia Renee Taylor talks about the bodily hierarchy, the ladder of bodily hierarchy, and how we have to step off the ladder entirely rather than trying to move higher up, right, over other people to get that privilege. And yeah, when you step off the ladder, like there's going to be privilege that we are going to lose out on. And some of us already receive stigmatization and harm. So ultimately, the message that I want to share here is this idea of perceived body betrayal being an internalized message, right, from culture that we've taken in, that is sort of like believing the lies of why people in power say it's okay to treat other people poorly. And we don't have to buy that message anymore. And we can be in community with other people who don't treat us like less than, or who don't buy into those messages, right? Opting into communities, the fat community, the disabled community, older people's community. There's not like a place you go for that. But opting into those communities rather than trying to fight against being part of that community is actually really healing and can insulate us from some of the messages that are trying to tell us that we're not good enough as we we are. It's a lot more complex than all of that. There are, it's really difficult to fight against these systems that are so big and powerful and have been in place for so long. But by refusing to participate in that and refusing to take it on, we can experience at least some body sovereignty and more trust in ourselves. This was a heavy topic, but I really love talking about all things food and body, all things, health and wellness, stepping out of the diet culture mentality and into how to have a secure, attached relationship with food and body. So if you're interested in learning more, make sure you follow me. Feel free to comment on topics that you'd like me to talk about, or if you have questions about this. I'm doing this kind of off the cuff. I was just excited about reading this book. So, it's not always perfect, but I hope that this was helpful. You can also pick up my book, Enough, Heal Your Relationship with Food and Body Using Attachment Theory. Thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe if you want more information about becoming securely attached with food, your body, and yourself.